Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Mike from the Nothing But Niners crew, and I am here for another episode of March Madness. Now, I tried to mix it up on y'all. I tried to see if we could maybe get a new first question or two in here if I just announced the show 5 minutes ahead of time. Just 5 minutes ahead of time. All right, so we're going to see if it worked. We're going to see if maybe the first person is the first person. Maybe it didn't work. Maybe it did work, but make sure you guys are all here, locked in, got those notifications turned on so you know exactly when we are going live, because that is going to be the most important thing. All right. Now, for those of you who are first timers, I want to let you guys know we do this all month of March, March Madness, 15 minutes minimum, 15-minute minimum. All right. We're going to have some fun. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to talk. We're going to have a good time. All right. So let's get it, baby. Our first question is here on the board. Always make some noise for our first question. Let's drop a Funk Flex bomb on it. My man, Mark says, OG Big Mike, how was your Sunday? You know, this was a much needed Sunday for myself, man. You know, if any of you guys out there are spiritual, I feel like a lot of times when we start taking steps in our spiritual path, a roadblock will come or something that'll kind of make you upset or deter you, just hits you, boom, just like that, right? And so we started this thing this week with my family, my mom and her children and down and all the different households. We do this family prayer in the morning, 7:30 a.m. Sunday. We all get together on Zoom or on WhatsApp or whatever, and everybody reads a Bible verse, and we do a prayer together as a family, and you start on about your day. I was like, man, this is good. It's that first time doing it. Like, let's go ahead and do this, right? And then one of the biggest negative things that could happen to me, a 8-year YouTuber, happens. My camera breaks. The camera that I do all of my shows from breaks. The camera that I have, the green screen in the background for the ones that I use for the draft shows, like just my camera. It breaks this morning. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like right after I thought I had such a good start. And so now I'm panicking because I got shows coming up that I need to hit this camera for. Like I can't do these shows without the cameras. And me being the person that I am, I've given away all my backup cameras. I was like, man, this camera's been working for me for a year and a half, 2 years. Like, I'm going to give this one away. I shipped one to one person. I gave some to a church that wanted to start doing online videos. I donated some microphones and some cameras to them. And now it's like, I don't have any more backups. So that was a negative after a positive. But then the rest of my day was really, really good. I didn't get to spend as much time with my wife as I wanted to. However, I did finish the day strong. I ended up going to church today, spent time with my family. Someone near and dear to my family passed away. So we went to, and we did like a balloon release for the person. I know it's not good for the environment and all that stuff, but we went out and we did a balloon release, and then I hung out with my mom and my siblings. Then I came home, spent some quality time with the wife, put the kids to bed, shower, bed, and all that stuff. So overall, it was a good day. But that negative, man, oh man, was a negative. So it is what it is. All right. But I hope your day was good, Mark. Thanks for the question. He says here, is C that big of a need? Center. Okay. Are Brindle and McKivitt serviceable again? I do think that center is a need, right? I no longer want to look for serviceable guys. I want the guy at the position. I don't care if we have to draft 2 of them. You draft the guys, let them battle it out, bring in a free agent, whatever it is you got to do. You have to invest in the position. They say that Kyle Shanahan teams are the best when he's got a good center, a center that he can trust, a center that he can depend on. And if that's the case, it's time for us to invest in it and stop just making do. All right? We got to stop making do. Let's go out there and get guys and stop playing around. All right? He says, which round do you think it's too late to draft a potential replacement offensive line? There's no such thing. There's no such thing. I want to remind you guys of Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday was undrafted, and he's a Hall of Fame center. There is no such thing as too late. All right, so you definitely go out there and you get that. Mark with the trifecta, man. Let's make some noise for the trifecta. That's 3 in a row questions there, man. By the way, that was three. That were 3 sounds. Dun dun dun. He says, in the event everyone on offense stays relatively healthy, what would be a disappointing season numbers wise for Pearsall? If everybody is relatively healthy, I'm assuming that includes Brandon Ayuk. I would think that a disappointing season for Pearsall would be anything less than 700 yards, anything less than 4 touchdowns. Pearsall should easily, with Debo gone, it's really Ayuk, it's Pearsall, Jennings. Jennings should go back to being the 3rd wide receiver, and then everybody else is getting mixed in there. Pearsall should finish with at least 750 and at least 5 touchdowns. Anything less than that is a disappointment in my eyes. All right. Oh, y'all are pouring them in here. Y'all weren't playing, man. Okay. Okay. Danny says, do you think Purdy will hold out? I do not. I don't. I don't think he's got the he wasn't like this first round pick that's got a couple of dollars to sit on. He wasn't this guy that earned a whole bunch of incentives. Now he does have some endorsements, so maybe that money is working for him. But I don't think he's going to sit out. I wouldn't do it if I was him. Michael's in the building. Says, "What's up, Mike? Do you think, given the cut in personal and savings millions? Wait. Let me read this again. Do you think, given the cut in personal and savings millions, that this will be the action taken into next year, although we'll have tons of cap space and okay, personnel. I apologize. I get you. Do you think, given the cut in personnel and saving millions, that this will be the action taken into next year, although we have tons of cap space and can be a top spin? I do. I think that the Niners are setting up for a massive 2026. They're loading up on draft picks. They trade good running backs for picks this year. And who knows what we're going to do with those picks? Late round picks. If they do get traded, end up being traded for later round picks the following year. I think the Niners are just loading up for next year. I really do. The dead cap is around 20 million right now, give or take 5 million. And the cap space is going to be through the roof as of right now. So I do think that we'll be okay. All right. Do you think Cam Scatterbo, running back, would be a good fit for the Niners? I don't see it. I don't see it. I saw something about him earlier. I'm trying to think of who it was that posted him. I don't remember, but I immediately went and looked up some videos and all that. I didn't see anything super explosive. Is he hard to bring down? Sure, but there's a lot of bad tackling in college, and so you got to be careful when watching highlights. He's got that inspirational quote, "I can't be stopped," and all that. I get it. I've seen it, but I just don't know that I'm really. I don't think I'm really there. Mike, who do you think will be the next 49er extended? I'm going to go with George Kittle. I think George Kittle's going to get the next big deal for the Niners, or the next big extension. I think they're going to make him a Niner for life. George Kittle, I think he's a safe bet. All right. Let me see here. Looking back to the 2019 offseason, what were your expectations for year 2 of Pettis? All right, so that's a good question. I remember he finished the year pretty strong. He came out pretty good. And I did have some high expectations for Pettis. I thought he would take a step forward for sure. And I thought Pettis would have a 700 to 800 yard year. I thought he would have, 6 or 7. Matter of fact, it's basically what I'm expecting for Pearsall. So yeah. And that answers the second half of your question of the higher, same, or lower than what you expected. Yeah, I expect the same thing. I don't think it's so much about the talent, right? I think that Pettis is a better route runner than Pearsall is right now, right? But I think Pearsall may have better hands than Pettis. But it's about where you are in the offense. I think if you're going into the offense being wide receiver 2 for the Niners, that's where the expectations come from. We've seen Kyle manufacture touches and work with Debo. We've seen him manufacture touches and work with Jennings, right? You don't have to be the best route runner, the fastest guy, the best hands. He can find a way to get you involved in the offense, and that's what comes into play for me. Could this preservation of large cap space next year be earmarked for new head coach if Kyle's unsuccessful? No, no, and no. Cap space is not what coaches and personnel are paid off of. Cap space is strictly for the players. There's a different pot of money that head coaches are paid off of. Now, if you talk about cash space, they have made this concerted effort to maintain and replenish the cash flow. That could be looked at for another head coach or GM. So, yeah, there's that. Shall we do our bracket bet like we did last year? This is my man Ali for March Madness. Let's have some fun. Love college basketball. Other than 49ers, what's your favorite jersey color scheme in the NFL? Great question, man. All right. So I'm with it. I don't remember what our bet was last year, but I'm with it. And I hope I paid up if I lost. I probably did lose. But I'm with it. I have to put together a bracket. I will do that tomorrow at work. Shh, don't tell anyone. I'm going to be having some personal fun while I'm on the clock tomorrow. But I'll put together my March Madness bracket tomorrow, and I'll send it to you, Ali, and we'll see who wins. And then when we get together, drinks have to be on the loser. All right, we got to go out somewhere, and drinks will be on the loser. All right. My favorite color scheme in the NFL, other than the 49ers. I think I'm gonna get hated for this. But I like that Raiders. I like the black and silver. That's always stood out to me. I would love to just walk around wearing black and silver. Maybe it's because I like wearing dark colors, but the Raiders color scheme is one that I've always liked. Um, when I was young, I used to like the Dolphins. Something about that teal and that orange and the white, and I don't know what it was about the Dolphins colors that I like, but now I don't like it that much. Um, but I still do like that. Look at what color the accent wall is in my house, right? So that is something that has always stood out to us, and to me in particular. Um, I hate that creamsicle Tampa Bay thing. I know people love that. I'm trying to think of what other team. The Panthers is pretty tough. That black with that electric blue, that's pretty tough as well. So I would go Niners 1, Raiders 2, Panthers 3. Those would be my colors. All right. Yeah, yep. I see your comment there saying, yeah, it was a pretty good day. The problem with the camera breaking is when I buy cameras, like I don't go out and get like this is an unexpected expense. I got to put another $400 or $500 out for this next camera, but it is what it is. We'll get it taken care of. Are Kittle and Warner gonna retire 49ers? I would love to say yes, but I would have said the same thing about Greenlaw also, but injuries change that. I think Kittle is closer to it than Warner is. I think Warner has to do a little bit more. I think Kittle's a little bit more proven. While a lot of people look at Fred Warner as the best linebacker in the NFL, I think these last season and a half has kind of proved to us that Fred Warner, and just like everybody else in the NFL, they are very much dependent on the man next to them. And so that's how I see it. Um, and by that, I mean they'll retire having played their last snap as a 49er, not like Frank Gore, who went on to play for 2 or 3 more. No, I know exactly what you meant. Lifelong Niners. Start it here, finish here. I know exactly what you mean. All right. Let me see here. Here we go. Greg is here. This might be the last one. He says, what up, Mike? Other than the money the Niners are trying to save, do you think Kyle needs younger, obedient players, for lack of better words? No. No, honestly, no. I think that Kyle has built this team with a bunch of obedient players. You know what I would like to see? I would like to see Kyle, as offensive genius, go out there and get players and then build a scheme around those players. Go out and get the most talented players and stop trying to get guys that remind you of yourself. What the fuck does that even mean? We've never seen Kyle Shanahan. Sorry, I'm getting turned up. I apologize. What the hell does that even mean? We've never even seen Kyle Shanahan play football before. So when you say you drafted a wide receiver because he reminded you of yourself, and I know he laughed and chuckled it off and all that stuff, but like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing for real? Right? How many times have the Niners passed up on the most talented quarterback? because Kyle wants a guy that's going to not run the ball and execute the play. But what about the talent? What about the quarterbacks with the big arm, right? What about the running backs that are the fastest? What about the running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield? What about the wide receivers that are the biggest and fastest? What about the tight end that isn't just a blocking tight end that just happened to become the NFL's best tight end, George Kittle? Like, we kind of lucked out with that, right? We kind of lucked out with one of the most least talented quarterbacks in the draft, when Brock Purdy. We kind of lucked out getting a blocking tight end and turning him into George Kittle, this all around all pro, right? We lucked out with that. Why not go out and get the talent and then continue to groom, develop, and build an offense around that talent? I'm personally tired of the safe picks and you just do what I tell you and everything is going to be fine. You want to know what makes Andy Reid special? It's playing to the strengths of the players and personnel on his team. They go out and they draft the fastest wide receiver all the time. Tyreek Hill, Xavier Worthy. They go out there and they get these guys. Isaiah Pacheco, you know who he was? The fastest running back in the draft that year. They go out and they get the guys and they make those guys work in their system. They build that offense around those guys. That's the difference between a guy like Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid. You done touched the sore spot. Let me get out of here, man. Let me see if there's any other questions in here before I get out of here. Here we go. Darian says, with Fred and Winters, who you think going to be linebacker 3, draft or someone else or someone already on the roster? That is a really good question. And I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. The good thing is with the third linebacker, they don't play as much as the first 2 guys because most teams don't run that type of personnel out on offense. So we're usually in a nickel or dime set. But we'll see. It'll probably be somebody it'll start with someone who's already on the roster. And then by the end of the year, it'll go to somebody who's drafted. How many rookies would need to have a good or great season in order for us to have a shot at winning the Super Bowl this year at our house? The answer is 3. 3 rookies need to have a good or great season in order for us to win at our house this year. Whatever edge guy or defensive tackle we get, one of those 2. We have to have another dominant force on that defensive line along with Nick Bosa. Period. It can be an edge. It can be an interior guy, but we have to have one there. That's 1. Number 2, we have to get a dominant side of the offensive line. If they want to say that Trent's coming back, if they want to say that Dominic Pooney is going to play on the other side, or maybe they bump Pooney over to the left side, we have to have one more dominant player on the offensive line that is going to make it so that we can run the ball to either side of the field. Someone who can get to the second level and take guys out when we bust a big one. Pause. Excuse me. And the third one, this is going to be crucial, and you guys are going to think I'm crazy. It's going to be tight end. Well, what the heck are you talking about, Mike? We got George Kittle. He's an all-pro. I understand that. But George Kittle cannot be used properly because he has to block too much. He doesn't get to run the routes that he runs. Or when he is out there running routes, he's being overused. George Kittle needs to be sprinkled in, and we have to have the ability to use George Kittle in a way that the opposing team doesn't know that we're using him. And in order for us to do that, we have to have another tight end that can do the things that Kittle does. Let's find the poor man's Kittle. Let's find the next George Kittle. Let's go out there and get a route running, good pass catching tight end. I'm not worried about the wide receiver position. I'm not worried about the running back position. It's tight end, it's offensive line, and it's defensive line. Those are the 3 positions for me. All right. Let me see here. Jags uniforms, I see that. Those are pretty tough too. Why didn't the 49ers put younger talent in on IR with a broken foot or hand? If they ball out, don't want to lose them after preseason. Niners lost DJ Reed, Caden Smith, offensive lineman Kingston to the waiver wire. Because of the rules, there's only so many guys that you can put on IR and then bring them back. So I think the Niners are kind of stuck to following the rules of the NFL. All right. In your opinion, which Jordans are the best? I am not a Jordans person. I've had 2 or 3 pairs in my lifetime, and I didn't like any of them as far as comfort goes. However, my favorite Jordan to look at is this Jordan Force Fusion. I believe it's 12. It's a Jordan Fusion with the Air Force. They were black and white with the gold accents on them. Oh man, absolutely beautiful Jordans. Absolutely beautiful. All right. Um, let me see here. Let me see. Steven Rodriguez says here, what do they think the Niners are doing with not signing big agents? Listen, the Niners never signed big free agents. I really don't know why people expected this. I don't know why we got our hopes up. It's never been about the cap space. It's never been about the Niners build their team through the draft. They get key free agents and they get key undrafted free agents. That's how we do. There's been 3 big splashes in free agency since Kyle and John have been here. Javon Hargrave was one, didn't work out too well for us. Richard Sherman was one that worked out okay. And was it D Ford? I think D Ford was the other one. But that's not something that we really do. We don't go out and make the big splashes in free agency. All right. All right, here we go. What's the best part of the muffin, top or bottom? LOL. You got to go with the top. This is smooth up there. The butter is there. It just tastes better. It looks better. You got to go with the top of the muffin. All right. That's it. This is going to be the last question here. How many dogs have you had? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right. Dogs that I have personally owned. I'm going to go with Aladdin. Well, no, Gidget, Aladdin. That was my uncle's dog, but we raised it together. Should I count them? I'll count them. We lived together. Bishop, Juice, Illmatic, Cyrano, Blanca, Niner, and Bear. I'm going to say 9. Now, I've had more. I've taken care of people's dogs, and I've homed dogs for people and all that stuff, but those weren't really my dogs. All the ones that I named were dogs that were my dogs, except the other one that I named Bishop, which is my uncle's dog. We got him as a puppy, but we lived together at the same time. So that's it. 9. 9 is the answer. All right. Guys, listen, that's going to do it. I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for rocking out with me tonight. And I'll see y'all soon. All right. Same time, same place tomorrow. Prepare for glory, anticipate pain, but always remain faithful. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey. See, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us,